It is 10:03 a.m. and I had one trade with GEGI, but I only traded, as you can see here, 1,000 shares, which is a very tiny position. Let's just go over, right? 1,000 shares. I was just trading a $7 position because GEGI is very backwards in the way it trades, and it's very, very, very interesting. You might see a lot of people supporting it at the bid, and then you see a very tiny ask, and then you think, oh, it's going to uptrend, but you see all of these people at the bid, and then it eventually gets taken out. The ask never uptrends. If it wants to uptrend, it'll do it by itself. It doesn't care about the price action, at the level 2 or anything like that. It just does it if it wants to. I've kind of learned to not really look at this one the way I would look at a normal OTC because it's very backwards and kind of messed up the way it trades. But it is still something interesting to learn and watch from. And I just traded a $7 position just to see if it was going to actually work out on the setup that works out on a lot of other OTCs, or if it's just going to fail and downtrend, even though it looks all strong at the bid and there's so many people at the bid supporting it. It just wipes it all out and then it does whatever it wants. I did try at 947 right here, and that was a setup right here at 76. So I was in it right here at 76. Why? It kind of looked like the head of an inverse head and shoulder. So we had the downtrend, and then this is the shoulder, and then we have this downtrend, and then I thought this could be the head, and then it might try to maybe get to around the 80 sub penny level, or maybe VWAP, and then it downtrends, and ideally if it downtrends is going to be a higher low off of here. So we have the shoulder, the head, and then it downtrends a little, makes the shoulder, and then it uptrends some more, and then it can try to reverse because it's been down the past few days pretty massively. It didn't do it right here. I eventually had to cut the trade when it looked like it was going to break the day low because that's how I have my risk level. At 9:56 I did get out when it was starting to fail and do the thing I was talking about. Right here at 9:56 I got out at 71, and yeah, it broke the day low, which was 72. Now this could be the head of an inverse head and shoulders, the shoulder, the head, and now it'll maybe try to uptrend and then do the shoulder and everything. But I've learned, or at least more often than not, when it just keeps making lower lows and you keep thinking this could be the new part of the inverse head and shoulders, I kind of stop trading it because it just seems less likely that I'll do it. Or I can just wait for this to uptrend, and then if it makes a shoulder, I might be interested in longing that. So that's pretty much the case with this one, and I did have an attempted buy right at the market open. This was with a proper size at 932. Right here I did have an interest, and it just got to the very top of my limit at this 80 sub penny level. I was trying to buy when it was starting to show that it was going to reverse, and it does this where it just has like a big green candle and it makes the whole price action in just one candle. And when it looked like it was getting to the very top of my limit and everything, I didn't even have the opportunity to have been long. But if I were to have been in the setup, I probably would have gotten out of it quickly because it was just showing some topping price action with the way this one trades. But I mean, I guess in theory it got as high as 83, but this one didn't really work. It could have been something where it just drops even more after it's been down all these days, and then we just exhausted a bunch of sellers. They got wiped out, and then it could try to bounce back and be a reversal day. Not the case at all. This one doesn't bounce, kind of similar to GGII on the way down. It just keeps downtrending and it doesn't really offer anything for a bounce. So that's pretty much it. I don't see anything else in the markets right now that I'm interested in. In fact, I'm thinking about maybe doing something else. This one is up a bunch, but I don't really like the way this one trades, and I don't see any clear setups that I want to do with this one. It's always been something where if E-Trade Pro doesn't have like a daily chart of a certain stock, they always seem to be the ones that trade the sketchiest. But I do want to see what this one can do, but I am considering doing other things in the meantime. That's all I have for right now. Okay, it is 12:29 a.m. and I'm here to call it off. Overall, I'm going to be down just 50 pennies because I had that one trade with GEGI, and it was just a practice trade with a small amount of size, seeing that if it was going to be able to actually bounce in, Big surprise it didn't, but it did offer a bounce a bit later. Not really something I would have traded, although I guess you can say maybe some reason the warranty could have been inverse head and shoulders, shoulder head, and maybe a shoulder right here, but that's not really the case. This one is just like an ex-girlfriend. Everything just doesn't work out. Everything's just kind of backwards, and that's why you stay away from it. This just doesn't seem to always play out. I did try TGGI. I actually would have been long this setup and it would have worked out. At 245, I happened to come back to the computer. I spent some time working on my car and yeah, I mean, it actually did work out, but when I try to place an order, it doesn't even show when I first tried. Fidelity was glitched because it was probably just a long time since I got on the Fidelity platform right here. So when I try to place an order, it just had an error message. I had to get rid of Fidelity and open it again. But then it just wasn't really that ideal. At 245, which was right here, is when I did place one order, but I was actually kind of interested in buying it even earlier when it was back here at the same price, roughly. And it was just kind of weird how, I wasn't able to place the order because it was glitched out. Then I reopened it. And then this level was still at the ask, this 151 level. So it was kind of throwing me off thinking that maybe it's just like some hidden seller at the ask and these are always a bit harder to trade, the ones that happen in the afternoon, and it already had a dip right here and a bounce and then another one. So I was just thinking maybe this is not even going to bounce. It's just going to be some big seller at the ask and it started to, eventually make a move towards the downside. But no, this one actually did uptrend just a tiny bit. I mean, it got to 15.8, but the price action here was very weird. It would have been ideal if I were to have seen this set up much earlier, and this could have been a trade I could have taken later in the day. Although this is again kind of sketchy because it's like not as ideal as one in the very morning. So that was a case with that. No interest with this stock and no interest with this one. Volume dried up. This one has no volume either. And this one was up trending today, and it will be something I'll see tomorrow to see if it can try to do maybe a continuation and be more than just one day that it shot up in value. That's pretty much it for today. Just one trade with GEGI, and it was a very small size. So I'm glad I traded a very speculatively small size just because I haven't been able to really be a part of GEGI because it kind of trades backwards, at least from what I normally try to see and find in other OTC stocks. That's it for today.